Are you looking for the best mesh Wi-Fi system? In this video we will look at some of the 5 best mesh Wi-Fi system on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description, so make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Number 1. Asus ZenWiFi XT8. The combination of speedy performance, impressive range, and lots of extra features earns the Asus Zen WiFi XT8 the top spot as the best mesh Wi-Fi system, even if it's a bit of a mouthful. I tested the 2-pack, and the straightforward setup through the mobile app took minutes, though you have to keep the node close by during setup and then move it. This is a tri-band Wi-Fi 6 system with one 2.4 GHz band and two 5 GHz bands. One is reserved for wireless backhaul. Available in black or white, these units are fairly large, but they're unobtrusive and look quite classy, with side vents to help dissipate heat. Each router offers 3 gigabit Ethernet ports, which is very generous, as well as a 2.5 gigabit WAN port and a USB 3.1 port. At short, medium, or long range, the XT8 was consistently one of the fastest systems I tested, and speeds never dropped. The inclusion of AI Protection Pro, which adds anti-malware and parental controls powered by Trend Micro, is very welcome, especially since it doesn't require a subscription, unlike most competitors. Just remember that using AI protection means sharing your data with Trend Micro, so you might want to read its privacy policy. I like the parental controls, too. You can set up and reuse profiles, schedule bedtimes, filter by age group, and review activity. The quality of service (QoS) option lets you prioritize activities like working from home, gaming, or streaming, and you can limit bandwidth for specific devices. The mobile app has a wealth of options, and the web interface is even more in-depth. It's easy to split bands or set up a guest network. I also found that the app recognized most devices correctly. Sometimes it's difficult to identify devices from the attributed hardware names in router apps. There's support for AI Mesh, which means you can easily add other Asus routers to expand your Wi-Fi system. The dedicated backhaul channel, or the way the router speaks to its nodes and vice versa, is extremely fast, ensuring you get the full speed of your internet connection even from that node you placed near the backyard. The major caveat with this mesh is that it can take some tinkering to get it working well for your home. If a failed firmware update is your idea of hell or you can't face trial and error with settings, pick one of the systems below. My XT8 node initially refused to update its firmware, which took a couple of attempts to fix. I also had an issue with my Sonos speakers disappearing, which required a factory reset. Overall, using the XT8 has been a smooth experience. With a little patience and research, it's easy enough for just about anyone to operate, but the depth of options will satisfy power users. I also tested the slightly upgraded version of this mesh, the Asus ZenWiFi XT9, $330. It appears identical but offers a few upgrades beneath the hood. Firstly, the 5 GHz band you can connect to offers 160 MHz channel width, theoretically double the XT8's bandwidth. The processor is slightly more powerful, and there's support for link aggregation. On the downside, just like with the XT8, I had some teething troubles with the XT9 that required a firmware upgrade and some tweaks to the settings. On the whole, it's slightly better than the XT8, so if you see it at a similar price, I would go for the XT9 instead. Number 2. TPLink Deco X20. Note, the US government is reportedly mulling a TP-Link router ban after reports that vulnerabilities in the Chinese firm's routers were exploited in high-profile attacks linked to the Chinese government. According to the Wall Street Journal, the US Commerce, Defense, and Justice Departments are investigating TP-Link, though no evidence of any deliberate wrongdoing has yet emerged. TP-Link President Jeff Barney told Wired the company is cooperating with the investigation, has a transparent supply chain with manufacturing in Vietnam, not China, and is now headquartered in California, having split from TP-Link Technologies, which focuses on mainland China. TP-Link is not the only brand targeted by malicious actors. Cisco and Netgear devices have also been infected in suspected Chinese state-sponsored attacks. We will monitor this situation as it develops before deciding whether we need to reconsider our recommendations. The Deco X20 is an affordable Wi-Fi 6 mesh that delivers decent coverage and performance, with optional parental controls and antivirus protection, making it ideal for an average family home. I tested the 3-pack, and it was very easy to set them all up. The 3 routers are quite small and sport a cylinder design that blends in well. This is a dual-band system, 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz. There are 2 gigabit Ethernet ports on each router. Coverage and speeds are okay, falling well short of the Asus XT8 but beating the Aero 6 below. The app is straightforward, and it's easy to set up a guest network. Originally released with the free HomeCare software, this has since changed to a HomeShield system, and TP-Link has updated its HomeShield and parental control subscriptions. You get basic network security, router scan, guest network, QoS, and parental controls, create profiles, pause internet, block, and filter, included for free, but everything else requires a subscription. HomeShield Security Plus costs $5 a month or $36 a year and adds web and intrusion protection with notifications and reports. Total Security costs $70 a year and adds antivirus for devices, VPN service, and a password manager. Advanced Parental Controls costs $3 a month or $18 a year and adds time limits, downtime scheduling, rewards, app time limits, safe search, insights, and reports. While this granularity enables you to pick and choose what you need, it might be confusing for some, and I'm not keen on subscription creep. That said, most families will likely want the Security Plus and Advanced Parental Controls, which will come in at $54 for the year, $1 cheaper than the HomeShield Pro it replaces. The quality of service feature lets you prioritize activities like gaming or streaming or set priority devices. Importantly, you can split the 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz bands to show as 2 separate Wi-Fi networks. This is handy, as some smart home devices only operate on the former band. Similarly, there's a mixed mode for WPA2 and WPA3 security. Some devices don't work with the newer WPA3 standard, and some routers force you to choose one or the other, which can lead to issues. This mode ensures all your gadgets are on a compatible standard. The web interface is basic and doesn't add much, so I preferred using the easy-to-use app. However, it's a little slow to update, and settings are still limited. It didn't recognize many devices and listed obscure hardware manufacturer names, making it tough to figure out which devices to add to my kids' profiles. It wasn't the speediest performer, but this system is fast and dependable enough for the average home. If you have a connection that's 500 megabits per second or better, it might be worth upgrading to the Deco X55 or Deco X60. Number 3. Aero 6 Mesh System. Amazon's Aero 6 Mesh System is one of the easiest to set up, offers fairly wide coverage, and delivers stable connectivity. It's an elegant system, available as 3 identical routers or a 2-pack, as a main router in 2 small nodes. The Aeros blend in on a table or shelf, though the compact design leaves no room for any ports. There are just 2 gigabit ports on the routers and none on the nodes. Although the basic Aero 6 was one of the slower systems I tested, particularly at longer distances, the speeds from the nodes were close to what I got from the main router. There were no drops, and it proved adept at sharing limited bandwidth. The mobile app is straightforward, giving you an overview of connected devices with the option to pause the internet and set up a guest network. I was also able to create profiles, group devices, set schedules, and fix bedtimes. Unfortunately, content filtering, other parental controls, advanced security, ad blocking, and activity insights require an Aero Plus subscription at $10 per month or $100 per year. Eero is an Amazon company, and its routers come with Alexa support. Enable the Eero skill and you can pause the internet with a voice command through your Echo device, which is handy when your child won't get off the computer to eat dinner. The Aero 6 router supports Matter and Thread and can pull double duty as a Zigbee smart home hub in the same way Echo devices can, allowing you to directly connect some smart lighting, smart locks, and other Zigbee devices. 2 other tricks make Aero 6 systems attractive. An Echo 4th Gen, Echo Dot, 4th or 5th Gen, or Echo Dot with clock, 4th or 5th Gen, smart speaker can act as a Wi-Fi extender, offering an extra 1,000 square feet of coverage at speeds up to 100 megabits per second for up to 10 devices. Eero also offers an internet backup option, so you can add multiple backup networks, Wi-Fi or hotspot, to keep you online if your main wired network goes down. Eero's simplicity will appeal to anyone who hates digging into settings, but there's a cost. You won't find any quality of service features for prioritizing activities, and you can't separate bands. One final con with the basic Aero system I tested was comparatively slow transfer speeds, though this was not an issue for the higher-end systems. There are few Aero systems on the market worth considering, offering a broadly similar experience. The first two are dual-band systems, 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz. Folks with internet connections up to 500 megabits per second can go with the regular Aero 6. If you have a faster connection, up to 1 gigabit per second, and your home is smaller than 4,500 square feet, then the Aero 6 Plus, $300, is the system to pick. Anyone with larger properties or above average demands, lots of devices and people simultaneously using the internet, should consider the Aero Pro 6E, $550, 7/10. Wired recommends a tri-band system that supports the 2.4 GHz, 5 GHz, and 6 GHz bands. The Aero Max 7, $1,360, 7/10. Wired review is its top-of-the-line Wi-Fi 7 option, boasting 4 Ethernet ports, 2 rated at 10 gigabits per second and 2 at 2.5 gigabits per second, but it will be overkill for most folks right now. Eero also just announced the more affordable Aero 7 and 7 Pro, though we haven't tested them yet. You can dig deeper into the differences in our Aero buying guide. But whichever model you choose, keep an eye out for frequent discounts. All Aero systems are compatible with each other, which makes it easy to expand your network. Number 4. Asus Zen Wifi XD5. Affordable and compact, the Zen Wifi XD5 is a solid alternative to our top pick for more limited needs or budgets. Refreshingly, you don't have to create an account to set up and use this mesh network. Each of the 3 units features 2 gigabit Ethernet ports and can be wall-mounted. Basic security, AI protection classic, and parental controls come at no extra cost, and there is support for AI mesh, so you can mix and match other Asus routers. Performance was smooth and reliable during my testing, with some impressively fast results for the price. I downloaded a 30 gigabytes game in less than 8 minutes. While this is a dual-band system, there is support for 160 MHz channels on the 5 GHz band. Asus says a 3-pack can cover up to 5,000 square feet, but speeds drop off as you move away from a router. To squeeze the best performance from the XD5, or any mesh system, connect the main router and nodes with Ethernet for wired backhaul. The Asus mobile app is straightforward and enables you to schedule downtime and filter content for your kids' devices via parental controls, split bands, and set up a guest network. Access more options, including basic QoS and VPN support, via the web interface. My parents have been using this system for a couple of years now, and it has been plain sailing. Folks with 1 gigabit per second or slower connections who prefer not to have a subscription will find this dependable system great value. Number 5. TPLink Deco X20 Pro. Support for Wi-Fi 6E, which operates on the 6 GHz band, is common now, and with Wi-Fi 7 rolling out, 6E routers and mesh systems like this one are falling in price. A 2-pack of this tri-band mesh system is relatively affordable and enough to cover most households, making this the best Wi-Fi 6E mesh for most people. These cylindrical routers sport the vase-like Deco family design, blending into rooms. The setup is quick and easy, and the main router automatically detected the second one when I powered it on. Each has one 2.5 gigabits per second Ethernet port and 2 gigabit ports. Sadly, there are no USB ports. Performance was consistently good throughout my home, with some of the fastest speeds I have recorded close to the routers, but the range is relatively limited. My top pick, the XT8, outperformed the XE70 Pro in most scenarios. By default, the 6 GHz band is reserved for wireless backhaul, but you can open it up for devices. I joined with my Pixel 8, and after multiple speed tests at close range, up to 8 feet away, I generally got download speeds around 50 megabits per second faster than on the 5 GHz band, but this dropped sharply with distance. The range of 6 GHz is significantly shorter, and just one room over, the signal strength was visibly weaker than 5 GHz. If you use the 6 GHz for wireless backhaul, you can't have the routers too far apart or with too many obstacles or you will have dead zones. Disappointingly, the free tier of HomeShield offers only limited security, and Security Plus costs $5 a month or $36 a year for web and intrusion protection with notifications and reports, while total security costs $70 a year and adds antivirus for devices, VPN service, and a password manager. Advanced parental controls require a second subscription costing $3 a month or $18 a year for time limits, downtime scheduling, rewards, app time limits, safe search, insights, and reports. Quality of service allows you to prioritize specific devices and set bandwidth allowances. There is also a mixed mode security option for WPA2 and WPA3. You can also split the 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz bands and create guest networks. The Deco app and web interface are functional with limited options and feel a little clunky to navigate. The app failed to identify many of the devices on my network. I was also disappointed in the lack of an option to run a speed test on the router to see what my ISP delivers. Ultimately, the inclusion of that 6 GHz band won't make a difference for many people, but this is an affordable way to dip your toe in 6E waters. TP-Link has too many similar mesh systems. The Deco XE70 Pro replaces the XE75, $220 for a 2-pack, in our guide, which is almost identical, but has 3 gigabit ports and no multi-gig. There is also the XE75 Pro, $250 for a 2-pack, which does have the 2.5 Gbps port and theoretically offers slightly more bandwidth but is far more expensive. Since TP-Link often discounts its mesh systems, I would pick whichever one is cheapest. Folks with multi-gig connections should go with either Pro model. If you are prepared to spend a bit more, the Deco XE200, $370 for a 2-pack, listed in other mesh systems we have tested below, is an excellent performer and one of the best Wi-Fi 6E mesh systems you can get. The MSRP is high, but keep an eye out for price drops.